freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 261 of Gun Freedom Radio, where we engage, we educate, and we inform. We are brought to you by azfirearms.com, your nationwide hometown gun shop. I am one of your hosts, Cheryl Todd.
And I'm the other guy, Dan Todd. Our theme today is 1 million moms against gun control. And our guest is Mary Callison. Mary is a stay-at-home mom, small farm operator, and business owner who devotes her free time to helping run 1 million moms against gun control, as well as volunteering with the DC Project. Mary's sister was a survivor of a brutal home invasion, which has ignited Mary's passion to help others become prepared to protect and to be their own immediate responder.
Welcome to the show, Miss Mary.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, this is exciting to get to spend some time doing this. We usually have to go all the way to Washington, D.C. as fellow DC Project ladies, right? Delegates to get to see each other. So I appreciate you taking time to hop on here and let us pick your brain a little bit.
Thank you. I'm glad to get to chat with you guys. It's been a while.
It really has. It has. We had to miss our DC Project trip this year because of the stupid COVID, right?
Yeah.
And so we're in the studio today on Monday, September 28th in 2020, and it is still very much the year 2020. So
it can die.
Yeah, but
2020 can die.
Yes.
The COVID's only going to be here for another, month and a half?
Oh, yeah. As soon as that election's over.
Yeah.
That's my own little prediction. I've got my tinfoil hat on firm.
I know.
And
yeah.
So,
between that or civil unrest, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised who, Godzilla walked in my yard right now. 2020 it is. It's just whatever.
Don't invoke that. Don't speak that into existence. It is the year 2020. Were you not listening?
Yeah. I'm knocking on wood.
Oh man, craziness. All right. So as Danny was saying in the opener, your group is titled 1 Million Moms Against Gun Control. I mean, that is the key right there. And that we don't want to lose sight of that because, there's this other group out there who are, demanding some unnamed action, trying to act like they speak for every one of us women who are moms.
You sounded a little bit like Will Shatner when you said that.
Will Shatner.
She's invoking William Shatner this morning.
There, that's a new one. So thank you, 2020, for that. Talk to us about why you started this organization and what you've developed into. What is the mission that you're living out?
So actually, it was founded in 2013. I did not create it. It was actually founded by Heather Marchese. And how I got involved in it was after watching Obama basically parade the survivors and such of the Newtown shooting, and then seeing Moms Demand and Shannon Watts on there saying she spoke for every mother and how could we let this happen and how can we these weapons, and I stopped like, no, this is not this, she's not speaking for me. This was an individual who's he needs to be held responsible for his own actions. This is not on every gun owner of America, and so I went online and I was looking for basically something to counter or join in this protest against her, and I happened upon 1 Million Moms Against Gun Control, and it was created literally in the opposition to Shannon Watts' group, who at that time was 1 Million Moms for Gun Control. And obviously they have since changed their names a few times, rolled into other things and all that. But I started getting involved with that just because I wanted my voice heard as a mom. I was never an activist. I was never a crazy gun toter that they like to say we are. But I found that my rights were starting to be impeded. And I thought, hey, wait a second, this isn't cool. This is not what our founders wanted. And so I joined up and started to like travel and go to the NRA shows. And then myself and Rebecca, who you had earlier, ended up kind of taking over and running the show about 2 years ago or so. And we've kind of taken a step back from necessarily going against Mom's Demand. And in terms of what we're trying to become is more of a liaison for gun owners. We're trying to help bring cohesion to the gun world, which obviously every day you go on in different groups and you can see just how divided gun owners really are on small things, whereas the anti-gun side is pretty darn cohesive on their arguments. So if we don't start coming together, we're going to tear ourselves apart. We don't need the anti-gun side to do that. So we're trying to get out everybody's message that are other states that have certain rallies or things going on. We're trying to connect people within the gun world. So we have a large platform, which Facebook has been trying to dismantle, and just trying to bring people together as best we can and have be a resource for people to make those connections. So ladies in one state, let me get you involved with what's great is the DC project with that, the interconnection of knowing ladies in each state that are running ranges, that are running ladies, education days on this. So it really covers an education resource for people and especially women.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And very well said. And, isn't it frustrating for us though, that, we love that there is that independent mindedness that kind of runs through so many of us who are, understand that we're our own immediate responders and that kind of thing.
Right.
But that independent mindedness is what causes us to kind of like bicker and have that sibling rivalry. And it's harder to invite these millions of brand new first time gun owners, because they're probably standing back going, okay, I'm not going into that Thanksgiving table. No, I'll just wait till y'all like settle down and then maybe I'll think. And so it is like it's a double-edged sword, I think,
Right.
So
it is. And watching, we ran a ladies range day last weekend while Rebecca was in town. And even just with that, we had several women that were just really excited to be able to learn about firearms. They're not going to have a perfect stance. They're not going to have the correct hand, holding it, the grips and all that. We're working on them. It's a step-by-step process. You don't just jump in and know things. And even posting that within our gun groups, you still have naysayers, and it's insane. And we're volunteers. We don't get paid for this. We're real grassroots because we really believe in arming women and everybody that, we need to be able to defend ourselves. And we believe that so much, we will give our time and everything else to help women. Yeah. But man, sure makes it hard on those days. And they're like, well, you didn't have this right. And you're like, well, you didn't see the whole picture. Maybe ask us.
Well, it's like, do they stand at the doorway of a kindergarten and tell the kids that are brand new learning, the alphabet and stuff?
Right?
How stupid are you? You don't know the alphabet.
Dante's Inferno by now.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like, come on, we gotta, everybody has a first day at something. Let's offer a little bit of grace as we're
right. And kindness. It was, their caps lock yelling at us like, you didn't do it right. And it's like, ma'am, we're really trying to help people. You know what? You run your range days then how you see fit, but maybe just message us. So that's the hard part about this, is watching and seeing so many gun owners attack each other for even just doing good or trying to do good. So then we get the nice messages of encouragement and it keeps you going, but whoo.
Yeah,
well, you know what, Mary, I think that's a lot of the old guard. I think the older people that are going, oh, if you don't do it this way, it's not right.
Right.
It is bad.
I hope it's the old guard, and we have a new crop of people that are gonna
new people. But you know what? What's cool is that the Moms Against Guns okay, they are, they kind of did a cool thing when they tell all the women in America that they should be against guns and telling them they should. It makes people like you get up and say, oh, wait a minute, I'm not one of
Yeah.
those.
That's true.
And because if they
Right.
wouldn't have said that statement to you, you probably wouldn't be doing what you're doing right now.
No, I wouldn't have met the people I have. I wouldn't have gotten involved because that's just not, I'm a fighter, but I would not have necessarily gotten involved or went and looked for that. So yeah, so thank you, Shannon, for prompting.
Right. So in August of 2015, so this is after you had already, kind of found the 1 million moms against gun control.
Yes.
Your sister, and this is just horrible. It just hurts my heart every time I think about it. Melissa Schuster, she survived a brutal home invasion. One of those things that, the naysayers would say, well, it's so rare. It never happens. There's no reason that you need to have self-protection in your home because home invasions don't happen. Well, yes, they do. And you and your family and your poor sister are survivors of that. And I know that she has, from having met her, she's just an amazing human being, and that she was a victim of another human's actions, but she has a survivor's and a warrior's mindset.
Yes.
And I just give her just so much credit, and she's an inspiration to me. So, can you kind of talk us through that and tell us how she's doing today?
Sure. Yeah, that was the weird thing about that morning. And again, it goes along with caring and what we always preach to women is carry all the time, right? Well, before her incident, I would carry depending on where I went to, because the mindset wasn't, hey, I might come across a bad guy today. I'm going to grandma's house, because it was on I was on our mom's birthday. And so I literally had pulled out of my driveway. I stopped in the middle of the street and I'm like, I don't have my firearm. But I'm like, I'm running late. I've just got to go. It was rainy. I knew traffic was going to be horrible. I was heading towards Chicago area. And so I drove. And I literally passed by. I had to take a back road because our main interstate was backed up. And I took the back road that went past my parents' home, or their street, I should say. And so literally, I'm telling my boys to wave at Grandma's water tower, and my sister is down the road fighting for her life against a man that wanted to kill her. And I remember just pulling up to, stopped at McDonald's, called my mom, asked if she wanted coffee, and was like, okay, I'll be right there. We're so excited. And I start to pull up in front of my grandma's house where we were meeting to celebrate. And my sister about hit my car and said, Melissa's been stabbed. And I looked at her and I said, it was like that. You took your brain a second to go, what? What do you mean stabbed? Did she like cut herself? You're not thinking bad guy, break in the house, stabs your sister. And so she said it again. I pulled up, picked up my parents. They were running down the driveway, and we got to the hospital as fast as we could. We didn't know if she had survived. We had no idea what was going on. Your brain shuts down in a weird, you're in a focus, get there, don't know what's happening. I finally went in and saw her about maybe 2 hours after they had gotten her there because the detectives had to come through. The process is insane. I didn't want to see her before she was cleaned up because I was very afraid of what I was going to see. I've seen enough, news things. We watched so much ID channel. It's crazy. And when I finally went in there and I looked at her, and this is the moment that when women, what I saw on that ER bed, it will never leave. It's burned into my mind. It was the craziest sight because it was unreal. And if I tell people, I said, what that guy did to her, if she hadn't survived it, I don't think I would have been able to identify my sister.
Wow.
It was that bad. It was, I just, when I get passionate about it now, it's because I have seen what evil has done to someone. And it is brutal. It is horrifying. It is the thing of nightmares. Mm-hmm. And her face and her, when she spoke, because everything, it was unbelievable. Her first thing was almost kindness, is everybody okay? She was concerned about everybody else. And, and they're my parents' little dog. And her whole time through this has been amazing. I've never, it just floors me. But we never know when something's going to happen. And so from that point on, I carry everywhere I can because you don't know when you're going to meet somebody that's going to want to kill you for whatever reason. And now look at the political atmosphere and what's happening. I won't take my kids to major cities. I won't take them to other places because of the fact that there are so many people out there that are willing to take my life or hurt my children because of, XYZ, what I believe, what I am, etc. And women just need to know that they have to be responsible for their safety, that they have to take that seriously. You don't get to pick the time and place of an attack. It's going to happen when it's going to happen, and you better be prepared one way or the other. So she is recovering very well. She's actually getting married next March, and we are so excited for her. And of course, as Charlotte said, she had gone to DC with us. She is speaking. She's talked to legislators on this. She shared her story. When she left the hospital a week later, I watched the media personnel. We're talking Chicagoland main media. Some of them were in tears because they do not see the type of person Melissa was after this attack come out and speak with such grace and poise and matter-of-factness to this. And they were just like, they were floored. And they never usually release the names of victims, especially of a sexual assault, as she was sexually assaulted. And they just were floored. It was so we're hoping that so many other women through her story, no matter how bad it was, were able to come forward and maybe start living life or seek counsel and say, I'm taking back my life. She did it after such a bad thing. I can do it too. And so that is the other thing we're really passionate about. Share that story, share her survival, because there's way too many women out there, and even men, that have gone through something like this and their lives are ruined. And she's a testament to, you can go on, you can keep living, and you can learn from that, and you can get yourself armed and prepared. And that is what she did when she got in the right mindset. That's the big thing, as we talked about before, mindset and carry, and mindset after all of this. And that's something that people in the gun world should probably understand as well, especially if you're talking with victims, is that person has to be in the correct mindset to carry. They don't just go get a gun just because, what they've gone through. They have to be able to do it in the correct manner so that they don't hurt somebody else, or, PTSD being a very real thing, hurt a family member or something in an episode or whatnot. So it's a multifaceted thing when we're talking with people about it, but she's fantastic. I am floored as the big sister. I'm supposed to be the big protector, and I'm watching her it's unbelievable. She's doing fantastic.
Well, Mary,
Awesome
I would be curious to see what the mothers for gun control would say to her today. What would they say?
I would too, because I've mentioned it many times on Twitter when I'm talking with them, and it's always like, well, I'm so sorry, but, and it's like, no, there should be no but. You should be able to protect yourself. They don't want them to be able to protect themselves. They don't want victims, look at Shayna Watt's record with her own daughter's sexual assault, not even reporting it. So that's leaving people out there to be victimized yet again. And so they're not real kind about it, I should say. At least the ones I've come across.
Well, good for your sister. That's awesome. And, we've interviewed several people through the couple years, the years that we've been doing this show, and it's sad to see that a person has to become a victim before they understand. But I don't know if that's your case with your sister, but it's sad because there's people that've been on the other side of the fence, become a victim, and then join our side. Right. Which is, it's common sense that we were born to protect ourselves.
Yes. Well, it was crazy because we didn't grow up in a huge gun household. My dad would go shooting. We weren't like a hunting family or anything, but we weren't not pro-gun, I should say. It just wasn't a huge focus. But and my mom would actually giggle, I would go to their house armed, and she'd be like, why are you here with your gun on? And now she gets it. So it took a lot of that. But 2 weeks prior to Melissa's attack, we sat on this very stairs that the monster dragged her up in my parents' home. And I said, hey, we really should go to, let's think for the course itself, obviously, which could run about $75, depending on where you take it, up to $300 to $400, and then obviously buying a firearm. And some firearms are very costly, and you want a quality one. You don't want necessarily a lower grade, but you want a decent firearm that's not going to fail on you. And so a lot of those came into play. She was living at my parents' home. She was still paying for college, so she had several bills. So a lot of it came down to money. And that's the other problem is our government is basically taxing everybody that needs a firearm out of it because of all the heavy legislation in terms of getting licenses and getting, you got to have this. Here we have to have 2 licenses. We got to have a FOID card and a concealed carry card if we're going to carry. And it's ridiculous. So they're taxing people out of it. People can't afford it, and many of the people that need it the most. So we talked about it, but we didn't get it done. And that is where I have nightmares about that, because we just talked about it and then that happened. And I'm sitting there going, if I had just done XYZ, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Maybe she would have been prepared. So that's something that, I think about often, but that again propels me to tell as many women as possible about it. So, because again, you don't know. So
you don't. I mean, she wasn't in a bad part of town. She wasn't out late being, carousing.
Nope.
She was at home. And then,
1 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon.
Right?
Afternoon. Yeah.
Crazy. And so you talk about, that preparedness mindset, that situational awareness, the avoidance of saying, look, I see what's going on in some of these major cities right now with the political unrest, the civil unrest, all this sort of thing. I am choosing to avoid that and just not put me and my family in that place. Right. And there's even people out there that would throw, verbal rocks at you over that, like you're being paranoid. And it's like, well, you know what? Be that as it may,
right.
I'm going to make the decisions that feel right for me. Right. And I could still have a madman show up at the door of my home, but at least I haven't gone to a place where already, I've had opportunity to see that it's just nutty, crazy time.
Right.
You were one of the faces that got to grace the cover of none other than Time magazine. That is such an amazing thing. Tell us how that all came about.
that was really cool. Actually, that was thanks to Diana, because it was not only myself, but so many other DC Project ladies that were emailed and said, hey, can you make it to, I think it was St. Louis, Houston, or down in Texas, DC, and I think that might have been the only three or four. And she goes, how far are you from St. Louis? I'm like, I think I'm about 4 hours. And I drive everywhere. I mean, if I'm driving for a sale, I'm going to drive to gun stuff. So she goes, well, there's this happening in Time Magazine's doing interviews, and it's in St. Louis, such and such a date. Can you go there? I'm like, one moment, call my mom. Mom, I need you here. I need you here for the kids when they get home off the bus, because I got to drive to St. Louis for an interview. So I got the kids on the bus in the morning. I jumped in my car, drove all the way down there. Took place, and the interview was really neat. It was all green screen, and it was individual people. We were on the pro-gun day because they did not have pro-gun and anti-gun people because they didn't want any type of incident or arguments, which totally get it. And they took you in and they said, hey, here's the microphone, share your story. And it wasn't even an interview. It was very much like what I'm, sharing Melissa's story, from when I started into all that. And then they aired it. And the whole project was done by this guy, artist JR. And he's done some beautiful murals, and it was really done beautifully. He put this together in such a very tasteful way to show not only pro-gun, but the anti-gun side in the mural. And if you go to, I believe it's Guns in America, if you go to Time Magazine, Guns in America, you can Google it. You can pick and choose people. You can pick on a picture. It's all active. It's very neat. But he did it in a way that was not like showing gun owners like shooting. You know what I mean? Like, you were very aware of how some anti-gunners see us and the negative light it could cast. And it was done very tastefully. And the really neat thing too was you could listen, not necessarily you had Shannon Watts on here, you had Alyssa Milano, and hers was like, do it for the children. And that was about it. But you could listen to the anti-gun, or those that were not necessarily anti-gun, but did not like firearms because of their positions, like EMTs or doctors and stuff. So you could listen in a way that you weren't yelling at each other. You weren't in the same room. You just sat quietly and could really think, how do I listen to them better? And then how do I communicate with them my side of things and have a productive conversation? So it was beautifully done. It was so fair to both sides. it was really neat. And obviously Time Magazine is not necessarily the pro-gun publication, but it was a very well done article and mural and everything. So very cool. I learned a little bit. I went to Chicago, met up with Rhonda Ezell. They had a showing there, so they had the mural and you were able to talk with people. So we had some great conversations with the anti-gun side. So it really started a great conversation. That's really it. It was fantastic.
You're also at the Cody Museum.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I saw that. I was like, I gotta go. That was really cool. It was very neat to see that.
They have an entire wall that has
Yes.
that huge photograph with all those hundreds
It's really
and some
neat. It's
faces,
really neat. Yeah.
including
Yeah, I
yours.
got to be, I was like, I got the magazine
There
here.
it
I was
is.
like, I'm right here on the cover.
So cool.
That's awesome.
That was cool.
So
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
One of those like,
About
ooh,
time.
once in a lifetime things.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah, about time. I see what you did there. About time. Gotcha. Okay. So I do want to talk about the DC project. You mentioned Rebecca Chamoy earlier in what we were talking about, that she came out and helped you with some training. Diana Muller, who is our founder of the DC project. Rhonda Ezell, who is the lead plaintiff on Ezell versus Chicago, which is about trying to make it legal to have gun ranges.
Yes.
Legal to have gun ranges
I
in
know.
Chicago. It is so crazy.
Still not done.
Which, and that is about people being safe and proficient, right? I mean, how
Yes.
is this
Training.
a hot button issue?
Yeah.
But what was your pathway into discovering the DC project and becoming a delegate?
Yeah. So it was NRA, and I believe it was Dallas, I believe. And a mutual friend of ours, Buell Collins, he goes, I need to introduce you to a friend of mine, and you need to share your sister's story with her. So Melissa was with us there, and he brought us over, and we met Diane and everything and shared the story. And Gabby Franco was standing there too, so we were all talking together. And she's like, you need to go to DC. And I'm sitting there going, what? Melissa's like, huh? It was kind of like, what do you mean we got to go to DC? What do we do in DC? And she goes, no, this is what we're doing in a few weeks. I forgot which time that was. But it was really like a short time, maybe a month after NRA. And we said, okay. And I think Melissa could not make it, but I was able to go. So that was the first time I went, and was kind of like, wow, this is really intimidating, because I never really understood the process, which most people don't, of our legislators, your House, your Senate, the connections. And you forget from school, and doing your Constitution test and understanding who's got what, you really forget a lot of how our government works. And so it really became a process of going there going, oh, I don't know this stuff, and I really should. Yes. And then, learning more about that and making those meetings with our legislators. I have mostly to a federal representative for my district here. He has a few things that we need to discuss next time I see him, because I'm not sure on his stance on these extended magazines. I'm questioning some of his statements lately. But yeah, I mean, making the meetings and getting in there with them, it was really neat. It was a process to really go, oh, okay, I got to learn more.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was fantastic.
It's truly wonderful. And, the fact that so many of us don't know how our government works and can't remember from school, or maybe never even learned, it's apparent if you look at where we are. And I am one of those. I am learning as I go, but I've been doing Thursdays for 2A with my daughter Cassie and I, to talk about the state chapter for the DC project. And my PR lady, Kim Bishop, came up with these for me. And she says, okay, so most meetings that our legislators go into, this is what they see. And these are all the red shirts of the Moms Demand Action. But then this is who we are. Yes. This is the teal for 2A, the DC project ladies. And there is just a sea of teal here. And we are women from every background, every race and color and creed and socioeconomic
Yes.
background. And it's just a wonderful mix of people who we might disagree on a bunch of other stuff, but what we do agree on is what our Bill of Rights is about and our Second Amendment. And I'm just so proud to be a part of that. And for the people that are just listening and don't have, they're not watching on YouTube or whatever, I'm holding up a photo of, I don't know how many women are here, but it is just
It was a lot.
sea of ladies that met together with the DC Project, all wearing our teal shirts. And it is a thing to behold. It's a thing of beauty.
It is.
But I had to brag on that for a minute. So you are also one of the invited speakers for a big event this year. It is the 2020 2A rally that was going to be held in DC on the Capitol lawn. It was last year. This is the second annual. And this year, because did we already mention COVID and other craziness of 2020, we have had to pivot like so many events, and we've gone virtual with it. And I say that's a plus, because where some people might throw their hands up and go, oh, well, we can't do it. We're like, all right, we can, let's figure out how. What do you say to people who think that rallies are only a way to, preach to people that already believe the same way you do, preaching to the choir?
So I look at any type of pro-gun get-together, whether it's a rally, whether it's an array. I'm not there to change legislators' minds. I'm not there to change anti-gunners' minds. I'm there to get encouragement. And I think with missing out so much this year, it took the wind out of my own sails. And so with my view of this rally, and I think I shared it on, I mentioned it on Rob Pincus's page. There was a guy that had said, you should have moved it to such and such. And it's like, well, this is an opportunity for so many more people to come together online, unfortunately online, but it is what it is. And in your pajamas with your favorite beverage, who knows whatever you can do in your own home. But to come together as like a cohesive group and to get that encouragement, to get that like refreshment and hearings, so what if you think it sounds like an echo chamber? My discussing like my sister's case or somebody else discussing what's going on may prompt somebody else to go into action then and go into your legislator's office, go and have these discussions with those anti-gun friends in your life or family. It's not so much for the anti-gun right now, it's for us. It's for us together as gun owners to be refreshed, to come together, new ideas, maybe to speak in a different way or to maybe word something a little differently and say, oh man, I should have tried that, the next time I'm in a discussion. So it's for us. It's to help each other and encourage each other and to hear each other and go, oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll try that next time. Or, mine might prompt other women or somebody that's the pro-gunner to really step out and go, you know what if that happened to my aunt, grandma, etc. And then they had a real serious conversation about it. So that's how I view it. I look at it as that refreshment and that coming together of like-minded people to then go out and do that work afterwards.
Oh, for sure that. And I know for a fact that the rally last year, it encouraged at least 3 new voices to enter into advocacy because they felt like, these are all amazing things, but there's nobody that's really my voice. It's really representing who I am. And so they have stepped forward. There's the Latina Locked and Loaded.
Yep.
And she came from definitely not a pro-gun background. There's actually her husband, the Puerto Rican Pistolero. And then Live for Freedom. He actually created the social media 2A rally. Already twice he's done that. And his idea is that on this specific day, which he always chooses a day that's significant to history, this is the day that everybody can be involved. And what you do is you call and write your local, state, and federal legislator and just introduce yourself, if nothing else. If there's not like a big bill that you want to have, some say in, pro or con, just introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm one of your constituents. And I just want you to know that, thumbs up on this, or I don't like that you're doing that because that doesn't represent me. And I mean, what an amazing thing. And that was year 1. So who knows what's going to happen Year 2, and the goal of this is to bring speakers who have a wide diversity, and not just, oh, well, let's see how many different shades of skin color we have in the speaker
Yes.
lineup, right? But diversity of life experience, right?
Yes.
Diversity of background and thought process. And I just think it's a tremendous thing. And I think you are just, when I saw your name on the list, I actually did a happy dance. So
Diana goes, so you want to speak? And I was like, okay, hold on, let me sit and think about that for a second. And then, you think about it, you're like, Mary, it's not about you, it's about a message. You can do that. Talk to the people. You'll be fine. You can write a speech.
I know you're been on Time Magazine. You're big stuff now. This is a cakewalk after being on Time Magazine. Well, and that's the thing is I always tell people when you are asked to speak, the answer is yes. I mean,
Yes. Just do it. Step out of your comfort zone and do it. You don't know who you're going to inspire or help to step out of their comfort zone and box and do it as well. So
exactly.
Gotta do it.
Exactly.
Now it's time to talk about fun stuff. So you have a farm.
Yes. Yes.
Got any new baby goats or anything like that?
What's the update?
We will. What is it going to be? October? Let's see, October, November. I think November, December. I think our Hercules, he's our big daddy goat. I think he got some early. So we'll see. We had triplets born a little over a month ago. And so far, knock on wood again, because I say it and then like something around here dies. They're doing well. I swear. I swear.
The circle of life.
I'm like, I have to literally say I don't like you. Because if I say I like them or I tell somebody, it's like, oh, that chicken died, or oh, dang it, there's never a dull moment on the farm. I tell people, I'm homeschooling my kids this year, by the way, too. I tell people I hug animals, I play store, and I sometimes parent. That's my life here. But with 4 horses, 23 goats,
23
too many
goats?
chickens. Yeah, 23 goats. We had 17 babies born this year. Wow. My husband was at the academy and gone, so here I am, like, helping birth goats and revive goats, and we lost 7 of them, so that's the tough part of this. But hugging goats is like the best endorphin, like happy drug ever. So when people come out to the farm or come to the shop or whatnot, I'm like, you need to hug a baby goat. It'll give you a smile. Your day will be better. Everybody needs to hug a goat.
But
maybe that would make people more happy if they just hugged goats.
Seriously, let's just take them into these inner cities where there's so much unrest, and just maybe we'll just see everybody go, oh,
I think we need more of that. After this year and everything that's happened, I'm like, again, wind out of the sails. It's like, how do we make somebody smile at this point? Because somebody needs some happy.
Yes. Well, it's so funny to me that you've got the goat report, because Cam Edwards, the Cam Edwards, yes, of Cam and Company, used to be on NRA-TV when NRA-TV was a thing. He and his wife, I think their vlog is 40 acres and a pool.
Yep.
And they've always got the goat update, the baby goat update. So it's like, man, I think we need some baby goats.
I would have goats.
I know you would.
Should. They're like dogs. I swear. I swear they're like little dogs that just bleat.
They used to have them at Disneyland, and we would go, and I would just spend whatever time I could.
Way too much time. It's like, but we got grandbabies, honey.
Yeah, I know. That's like, everybody has to like, you can have any more kids? I'm like, yeah, I have like 17 a year.
I see what you did there. That's awesome. All right. Well, we've got to get out of here. Miss Mary, please tell folks how they can follow all of the awesome work that you do, and including baby goat pictures, which just make everybody's blood pressure come down.
Yes. So our main website is 1mmagc.org. So you can go there, follow pictures of whatever we're doing, or news interviews and all that. You can go on Instagram, Twitter, we're kind of slow on. It's so much to keep up with all this, but 1mmagc on Instagram. Mine is Mary Callison, 1mmagc, Illinois. And then, of course, the DC Project, dcproject.info. for getting involved in stuff. So I think I covered them all.
I think you did. And we have your guest page on GunFreedomRadio.com, so people can click on there, and that's
Awesome.
an easy way to reach out to you. But thank you so much for all that you do. It's so important, and you just do it with just an infectiousness of
Fun.
grace and fun, and you're just not that average stereotype of the gun owner. And
Oh no, I'm not.
right. And I think that people like you and I, we really challenge that paradigm, and I think we really love it. So
We do. I don't think we can live without it now. My husband's like, I'm like,
No,
but honey, this is my duty. I'm not in the military police like you, so this is my duty.
there you go. And baby goes. All right.
And baby go.
We gotta go. Thank you, Miss Mary.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Mary Callison.
That
Collison.
That was fun.
Oh my goodness. She's
should've
a
brought
blast.
She should have had a goat on the show.
I know, seriously. Just have one to hop up on the table or something. So, okay, well.
She's doing good work. And, it's really neat that, the Million Mothers for Guns, gun control, put a stab out there and said, all women want to save the children and get rid of all the guns and all that stuff, because we do all want to save the children. I don't think there's anything.
See, that's the thing. And I wrote that down. I was going to say something to her that, when she said that one actress, what was the name of the actress?
Melissa.
What's her name?
Melissa, isn't it?
Whatever her name is, the actress, right? She always shows up at the confirmation hearings and, all these political things. And, she says, do it for the children. It's like, yeah, that is why I'm armed, right? To protect my grandbabies, protect my daughter, protect myself, because just like on the airplane, what do they tell us on the airplane, babe? Oxygen mask.
Put your clothes back on.
Put your clothes Maybe that's what they tell you.
They do.
We haven't flown together recently. Is there something you need to tell?
I don't know. Southwest is okay.
Is there a
with
YouTube video of you out there somewhere? Have you gone viral? No, they say put the oxygen mask on yourself first.
Oh, that.
Why is that? Because if we aren't keeping ourselves safe and alive, then we are no good. We're actually become a liability.
Right. If you pass out, how are you going to put one on the kids?
Yes, exactly. And if we become a liability, right? Or, because if we become injured or, God forbid, dead, then not only can we not help those around us, our children, our grandchildren, our husband, whoever it may be, but now they can't focus on caring for themselves and making themselves safe, because now they've got to deal with, what happened to us. So,
it's
really,
extremely weak to say, do it to save the children, because it's not really, we had a guy that was trying to do a Red for Ed thing here in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And when I told him that I didn't want to give money to Red for Ed because I think the money is used in the wrong places, and they need to clean house first. He said, don't you care about the children? And I just wanted to, well, I'm not going to tell you what I wanted to do, but it's like, yes, I care about the children. That's why they did this thing already.
I want you to clean house,
right,
and spend your money more appropriately so that more money is getting to the classrooms.
Because they use that money for administrative, and it needs to be, we're just, what, it's like my house. I can spend X amount of dollars because X amount of dollars come in. If government was taught to do that, we wouldn't have these issues.
Yeah, but they have all of us.
Right.
Their own
They just, I
personal
want
little
more,
piggy
want
bank
more, want more, want more.
that they can just fleece us with just one more penny.
But it's for the children.
It's just a penny.
Everything's for the
For
children.
the children.
Right.
So.
And that's wrong. I'm sorry. It's we have to clean house first.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I think.
All right. Well, then we'll end there, and we will thank our awesome listeners, even those of you who probably are in the education biz and maybe we just upset with what we said. But
shouldn't upset you. We should be able to have these nice little talks. Tell me where I'm wrong. I think the money is going too much to the administrative and not enough to the kids.
Exactly.
You tell me I'm wrong.
At least here in the state of Arizona. So, yeah. And
love
that's the
teachers.
thing.
Don't we love teachers?
Oh my goodness, do
Right.
we ever?
Well,
I mean, especially right now, do we ever?
Right.
Because I've been trying to homeschool our 5,
Right.
6-year-old granddaughter for the past several months.
I want the teachers to
It's
get more money.
hard. And then I see her even with this very imperfect tool of this online learning thing, that, teachers have skills. They've been taught skills and they have tools at their disposal that I don't
Right.
have. I could learn them probably, but I don't have them. And I see our granddaughter blossoming in ways that she wasn't under my tutelage.
You're what?
Tutelage.
Is that a real word?
It's a real word.
I like that word.
Well,
I'm going to
look
use
it
that.
up. Tutelage.
I was tutelaging around today.
Not like that.
Oh.
And so yes, we
Yes.
love our teachers,
Yeah.
but
And I
we
think the
don't.
teachers should get more money. I think they should get more resources. I
Right.
really do. And
Right.
so,
Yes. And what I see is that, the political machine is shoving the teachers forward and making the teachers sort of be these, frontline reaching out
we're
to
collectors for money.
reaching out to their neighbors and guilting their friends and all of that. Well, it's for the children and it's only a penny. And it's like, I just don't have any respect for that, especially when you haven't cleaned your own house. And we as business owners, we have to do that. We have to live within the money that we can earn. And we have to give the best product and the best service and all of that. So we just always look for that when somebody else is wanting to reach into our already limited supply of finances and ask for just 1 penny more. So we got to move on.
So the $1 Million March, the million women for gun control, they use that tool by saying every woman wants to protect the children. And
Yes,
so,
we do.
so
We just want to do it in a different way than you.
But you get people
And
like Mary.
And we aren't limiting you with our vote.
Right.
We're saying, go back to the Bill of Rights, which is shall not be infringed. We all have the ability to protect ourselves how we see fit. So we aren't trying to limit those ladies, but they are trying to limit us and cause us to have to ask permission.
But you get women like Mary that go, wait a minute, I care about the children and I also care about my gun rights. And how dare you do that? So,
Exactly.
but they use that as a guilt thing.
Yeah,
If you're not part of protecting the children, then you must be a children hater.
Yeah.
But the problem, so that's what they're doing. They take the weakest thing that what we feel strongest about. Everybody wants to protect the kids. They use that as a tool to get you on their side.
They do.
And it's
All
time
right.
to pray. You know what? We're going to pray for the teachers
Hey,
out
we
there
didn't
today.
thank Mary.
We did thank Mary.
Did we thank Mary?
No, we didn't.
Callison?
Mary, we thank you.
Okay, now we can pray.
We pray for the teachers out there.
Yeah, we do.
We pray for
Absolutely.
law enforcement, first
Yeah.
responders.
Mhm.
We pray for this nation,
Yeah, we do.
and we pray for
Our leaders, our representatives,
Yeah.
the people who are placed in a position of responsibility.
not the
and-
ones that are in royalty, though. Not position of royalty.
But we pray for all of them,
I guess we even pray for the kings and queens of England.
even the ones we don't like,
Yes. Didn't say we didn't
especially
like those.
the ones we don't like. Be
Okay.
good to each other. Have a great week, and God bless.
God bless. Bye-bye.